What's up, everybody? I'm James. Welcome to Mechanical Mayhem, and welcome back to the Mechwarrior 5 Clan story-driven campaign playthrough utilizing stock mechs, where we experience all the cutscenes, discuss all the goings-on, and just have a lot of fun with it. We are here. It's time for the If You Know, You Know mission, Heir to the Dragon, Part 16. Lots of fun. The conclusionary mission for Turtle Bay, so there's going to be some cutscene heaviness going on, and I'm going to want to ramble a little bit at the end, so this will be a bit longer as you saw. So, without further ado, let's strap in and prepare for drop. Alright, we're here doing it. Heir to the Dragon.
Galaxy Commander, the Watch has decrypted the data caches that Cobalt Star recovered.
And
The Ryugawa plan to use the news of Heir Kurida's escape to ignite riots across the system. In the chaos, they plan to use a DCMS dropship to smuggle the prince off-world. Handoff is said to be at the Edo spaceport.
Demi-Presenter, can Comstar validate this intelligence?
No, we cannot. Our assets have gone silent since their last report. They are currently unresponsive. We have also not received any urgent HPG transmission requests that could be used to coordinate an escape.
Stravug. Does anything within our surveillance network corroborate this intelligence?
AF. Space Traffic Control has just reported an unregistered dropship has broken atmosphere, with a trajectory heading directly for Edo spaceport.
Leave it to these free-born barbarians to think that such a suicidal plan would ever work. Emily, deploy the 362nd and ground that dropship permanently.
AF, Galaxy Commander.
I will take command of the Sabercat and move to blockade the space above Edo as a contingency. If they manage to dust off before your mechs can stop them, a lone dropship will be easy prey for a warship. One way or another, no one leaves this system.
What about the riots? News of Kurida's escape will ignite dissent within the populace, especially with the Ryugawa fanning the flames.
Do not worry yourself with that, Jaden. I can deploy a portion of the Silver Jaguars to monitor. Elementals can be used for crowd control. Mechs can deal with any Ryugawa that intends to stir up trouble. Your primary focus is taking out that dropship.
Af,
I should not have to remind anyone here that ensuring the hero Kurida does not escape the system is paramount. Not just to Beta Galaxy, but the entire clan. I will not tolerate failure. Doing so will be met with serious consequences.
Alright, so this is going to be a longer video due to the mission and the cutscenes afterwards, and then I wanted to do some thoughts before signing off for this episode of the playthrough. That's an awesome loading screen, by the way. They did a great job with stuff like this. So we're doing the thing. If you know, you know, right? I've said this before. Well, this is it. This is Edo. And this is Heir Kurida. And we are expanding upon the lore that's been established for a while here. Now, what is interesting to me is that, you know, Clan Smoke Jaguar gets the blame for everything that goes on with the city of Edo here. And, you know, fair, right? It's fair play because the clans in general are to be blamed for all the conflict going on in the inner sphere at this time because, well, we kind of invaded, right? The Clan Wolf, Jade Falcon, Ghost Bear, Smoke Jaguar, all of them are conquering worlds. So yeah, everything that's going on is for sure because the clans stepped in. But we have to remember, the goal of the clans is not annihilation, but conquering as to be kind of like a forced savior concept, right? It never works out particularly well, but they're trying to save the inner sphere from itself. As such, they're not looking to level population centers. They're not looking to raise worlds. They're looking to conquer and basically let the populace be and, you know, rule them in place of their great houses. And yeah, that means what they do is going to be in service to the clans, but it also means that, you know, for the most part, the day-to-day in a lot of these places are going to be virtually the same. In any case, that's how the clans want to do things. So when we see what's going on here, what we really see is the Ryugawa and the elements of the 14th Legion of Vega are doing an all-out desperation attempt here to get the prince off world, right? It's a massive gambit and a massive loss of resource and life when you think about it, because it's not just this mission and what we're facing. It's we took over a whole primary base of operations. We denied them the bombers. We took out some supplies and everything else. We've been bleeding them out, and still they're gathering and mustering the rest of their strength in this one kind of final push or gambit to get one person off world. It's quite a sacrifice. Now, we are destroying these buildings and whatnot. Part of it is I'm not good at piloting in the middle of combat through city centers, and that's where the enemies like to stay. And I don't think if this was actually lore accurate stuff that they would willingly wade through their own buildings either. I think it's just a byproduct of the game. Speaking of, I don't know true force disposition of what's going on in Edo. I don't know if it's truly kind of spelled out for us. And I say that because some of what we're facing here, of course, is for the sake of a video game, in terms of being difficult and giving us adversaries and giving us a feel of accomplishment going through quite a particular big area, right, or a particularly noteworthy mission and battle. But at the same time, I don't suspect it's only like 5 dudes in the actual lore either. So we have to take the total numbers that we're going to be decimating with a grain of salt. But for the purposes of this playthrough, we're going to treat it as if we're looking at the story lens here, because it's being extrapolated for, gameplay purposes. In any case, we are really taking it to them. Air support's being taken out. Ground forces being taken out. Enemy mechs are coming in, doing all they can, but we're just trouncing them, right? We're going and rolling through them with our capable advanced technology and our training. Now, with that being the case, we do have to keep in mind that Clansmo Jaguar is kind of up against the wall here. Not because they're in danger of losing the planet. It's ours. But we're kind of up against the wall here because we don't want Kurita to escape. Plus, we have a crime syndicate fanning the flames of not so much insurrection, but panic and fear, which is going to lead to civilian people taking matters in their own hand and being truly desperate, which is what's going on. Plus, on top of that, the crime syndicate is going to make use of this chaos and fan those flames and do things, and, the end result is, well, it's Smoke Jaguar's fault. And again, completely, just like it's J Falcon, Wolf's, and Ghost Bear's fault because we're invading. So you have elementals and enforcers trying to keep the civilian population in line. And what I think is really important to make note of here, they're not just gunning them down, they're not just beating them to submission. They're trying to keep them back, getting them to disperse. The problem is they're in a panic, and they're in a panic because of the Ryugawa. And the Ryugawa are going to got assistance for this panic by the fact that we ordered a system-wide grounding of all dropships. That, of course, invokes panic because, what do you mean we can't leave? We're stuck here. What's going on? We're all going to die. And Ryugawa are fanning that. And as we just saw, they're using Inferno rounds. The Ryugawa and the Legion of Vega are using Inferno rounds within the city to actively set fires and set things ablaze, further adding to the confusion and the chaos and the panic of the civilians, which is Desegre tactics, right? So that's not something the clan would do, or not something they condone, and as a result, it's taking a heavy toll on the infrastructure, and the clans don't like doing that. So this is very much against the ways of Smoke Jaguar and all the other clans. So we're just here trying to take them out. We're helping out, I believe, Shadow Binary. And I have a Wolverine coming in close, but I'm not going to let this bub get me, so I'm going to keep backing up. And I enjoy this style of combat. It feels very Battletech when you have combat like that. And we have a pretty stout star at this point dealing with the enemy. We help Shadow Binary out, which is pretty cool. Ravens and I think Griffins have ECM, so I always try to maim them at the very least where I believe the ECM is, so we can get rid of that because it's super annoying to deal with, which is the whole point of ECM, by the way. So I'm not hating on it. It's just one of those things that it's a tactic thing to attack them over some other forces if you really need it. As Star Colonel Wimmer says, elemental battle armor can indeed take down battle mechs, so she's kind of flabbergasted as just get order restored. You can take on things much more dangerous than people who are unarmed. And, you know, yes, they did open fire on civilians. The reason that they opened fire is because some civilians, possible Ryugawa agents, possible panic-stricken civilians, made a play to try and get inside the clan vehicles and grab at weaponry. And that's a big no-no, right? So they did what I imagine most forces would do in that situation, and that is they opened fire. And then they quickly stopped, but of course all those actions don't help. It further spurs on the panic, and well, you know, we see what's going on. Things are outright in chaos. But we are restoring order. It's coming at the cost of infrastructure because we're doing battle in places we don't want to do battle, and that's problematic. In any case, as you've been seeing, we've been taking out enemy forces. We've been assisting AI allies. We had 2 mech bays pop up. Well, I was on top of one of them, and it didn't destroy or damage a mech, which is good programming. So that's good. And I do have, or I still have more damaged mechs than Naomi, but I wanted to give her her ammunition back because we are going to get to an ammo crate, but I wanted her to be able to be of more assistance to, you know, from here to that next ammo crate. So I had her repair in the mech bay because it gives ammunition back. And to be fair, if Mia was at like 80% or something worse than where she's at, I would have had her go into it. But because everybody was pretty well off, I made use of the mech bay because, of course, and then I had Naomi do it. Probably would have been better to wait for this mech bay, but because there's going to be one here once you take out these enemies, but I didn't. So there's that. Now, we're facing more mechs, more ground forces. The LRM carriers can be dangerous. I, you know, am maneuvering to try and get around so things aren't just going to bombard me because I'm sticking my neck out. And we have a Shadowhawk and a Commando and a Firestarter. So, 2 more of a nuisance mechs trying to just whittle you down a little bit and keep your attention. What I'm doing now is completely unnecessary. I could have waited because there's a bit of time until the doors will open to move further, but I'm going to go out of my way deliberately to get this scan because, hey, resources, right? You could wait until you destroy everything because there is a decent amount of time until those doors will open, and there really isn't a countdown timer to worry about. We are kind of pressured storyline wise, but it's not like you have to do something within 30 seconds or you lose or anything like that. At least, not yet. So, we're taking out the enemy. One thing you can definitely do with these LRM carriers is get close, because that'll be a problem for missiles trying to fire on you. I believe we had an engine kill there, which is why the building took some damage. So, I'm going to go ahead and have Mia repair. I could also have repaired my star and just taken more damage myself and then use this repair rate for myself. So there's different ways you can go about it should you desire to. So now we're at the spaceport, and what should be noted is that we weren't really in Edo proper. We were close. In fact, this kind of like in the horizon skyline area, when you look out, you'll see what is more than likely Edo proper. So we're hearing radio chatter from that area, from this area. It's really cool. It feels really organic, really proper when you're trying to quell civil unrest and panic and stuff like that. So I believe that will be the dropship we're going towards, but we're going to get there eventually. First, we got to deal with the fuel reserves. We've got to keep them from getting off the ground. Of course, though, the enemy's coming in with reinforcements because they're doing everything in their power to keep us from getting to this dropship. So, 2 Shadowhawks. Shadowhawks are pretty tanky, I think. At least they feel pretty tanky to me. They're 55 tons, I believe, so they're medium mechs, but they're they can be quite a nuisance in terms of just the staying power they have at times. One tip I have is be tactical with your shooting. So if you are trying to get, let's say, a center torso kill on a mech, but the legs are pretty weak and then one gets taken out, go for the second leg. You'll take the mech down anyway, and it might go a bit faster for you. So with that done, we can go right or left. I've gone both ways. I do feel like going this right route is a bit, I don't want to say safer, it just feels better. We're not as exposed because there's not as much blocking the enemy's line of sight on the other side. So we can kind of get around where we want to be and lay into these fuel reserves and the enemies guarding it, because we're not done with the enemies, because of course we're not. We have to remember, and we can see the city of Edo burning in the background. Really cool. Pretty massive city. This is their spaceport. So we have to remember that the whole reason we were dropped off early and not in a spaceport proper is because these forces basically stormed the spaceport. So we needed to get dropped and get a handle of everything first. If you can get the enemy near some of the fuel reserves, destroying the fuel reserves will do some damage. It's nothing crazy, not like Mech Commander style, but it's definitely worthwhile if they are there, right, as an opportunity thing. Otherwise, we just gotta blow up a Vindicator. I think there's a Raven in here, there's a Wolfhound in here, and I believe a Blackjack. So a full Lance guarding this area, and they are actually pretty decently defending, as in they're not running through the stuff they're trying to keep from blowing up, so that's always good. Had an engine kill go off there, and we are basically laying waste, because at this point it's a case of this is do or die, more or less. At the end of the day, we just got to take things out and we'll repair it later. A very anti-clan way of doing things, but we're in a pinch, right? We're in a bit of a bind. We don't have the luxury of picking things apart more tactically. So, with that said, we have a power relay station, and these power relay stations help things such as powering up drop ships and everything else to get them started and cycled up when they're doing their startup sequence, their boot sequence, I suppose. So we got some more salvage scanned, more or less, and now we're making our way towards the power relay. Now, I really like the design of the spaceport. We have typical runway, and we have places that clearly dropships can land in. And just all in all, I think they did a very good job with it. The aesthetics of this massive, big spaceport. This is like a primary spaceport. Like if this is JFK versus LaGuardia, if you know those airports on Long Island. Anyways, we have mechs assisting us, which is good. The first time I did this mission, I saw we had Black Knight, and we had a Dragon, and we had other forces we had to fight. And mid-fighting them, I saw this dropship come in. And I was like, what are we fighting now? There's so many things. And then I realized, oh, it's allied support. That's great. So definitely lean on your allies a bit here. There's no priority to keep them alive. I'm not saying sacrifice them, but what I am saying is let them take some heat. It's definitely going to be helpful because there's no more repair bays. So you can see on the HUD there is an ammo crate. So once we're done here, we can scan the ammo crate before moving forward, and that'll be very helpful. So all of this devastation is because they're trying to get Heir off-world. We are having to get up close to a Union dropship, and these things are dangerous. So I will say this isn't as dangerous as Mechwarrior 4 dropship dealings. They really hit hard in Mechwarrior 4. But you still can get plenty bloodied by the dropship once its guns power up. So this is a very interesting mission. I really like it. It's quite different from what we've been doing. You know, games are pretty repetitive in general, but the idea that we have to chase down this dropship and do whatever we can to ground it is really cool. Nice little kind of like blast shield building there. And here we see enemy reinforcements coming in to further delay us. They're really throwing literally everything except the kitchen sink at us to keep us from this dropship. But the allies that came in is a Mad Dog, a Hellbringer, and an Executioner, which is an assault mech. So we have some serious support. But not only did a lance get dropped off, but the dropship itself was opening up its doors, and we see ourselves dealing with a Highlander, and there's a Hunchback, and then the guns power up. So this is a very, very hectic mission for sure, especially at the end. Doing this on Expert and on Trueborn when it came out, that was stressful because things are more accurate, more dangerous. The enemy is harder to kill, especially on Trueborn. So really, really tough. In fact, on Trueborn, I utilized a custom build of the Hellbringer of all things. Hellbringer is one of my favorite heavy mechs, but I never really thought I would use it here because it's relatively lightly armored. But the custom build of mine actually has pretty good punch and really good survivability. Otherwise, every time I've done this, I've done it as you're seeing here in a Stormcrow, because Stormcrow Prime is actually pretty tanky as a stock mech goes. So here we are. Anyways, be mindful of your arm mounts and where your torso is, because as you can see, the torso is not going to be able to reach the higher up turrets. Definitely want to try and get these turrets taken care of. I like to try, I didn't really do it here, but I do like to try and prioritize autocannon turrets. I just feel like they shoot the most. And then from there, just trying to prioritize enough where it's not going to be able to really fire at you. Yeah, it'd be nice to get all those turrets right now, but as long as we I'm kind of putting myself in harm's way here, but if you hang back, you're not going to have the turrets on the front of the dropship be able to hit you, clearly. So, really do kind of want to be careful here. And as you can see, this is large laser turret. That would be nice to be taken out because large laser is going to hurt. The reason why you might want to do what I'm doing here is because we have, aside from not getting literally spawned on, we have pretty decent access to water. And if you're doing energy heavy builds like I like to do, being able to kind of maneuver in the water a bit to just unload into the freeborns is really, really nice. No worry about overheating. Very helpful. But a whole nother reinforcement lance to try and stop us. They're literally using all their last resources. This is why, lore-wise, when we get a listing of all of the inner sphere forces that were outright destroyed, not just wounded or damaged, but full-on detachments that were completely destroyed or listed as completely destroyed. This is why the Legion of Vega is listed among them, because we just are decimating things here. Another lance. This is a definite showing of force, right? This is why I say we don't want to just sacrifice our allied star, but it's okay to let them take some hits because there's a lot you have to do here. So let me know in the comments if you feel like this was a good move. Like, we know what happens lore-wise with Hero Creator and everything else, and it's not like I wouldn't say it's necessarily something that wouldn't have happened anyway without him, but just looking at all the sacrifice of material and personnel and the damage to the city right now as it stands, and just the sheer panic and loss of life, civilian and military, for one person to get off world. It's, as it was said, it's more about line of succession than the real impact one person can have. So this is tough because there's two more dropships coming in, and the scanning, as you can see, is really slow. Now, I've destroyed once in a playthrough all of the turrets on this dropship. It doesn't change anything. This is exactly how it goes down. So we have two lances attacking us. You have a timer. It's a pretty tight... I shouldn't say it's a pretty tight window, but given how slow the scanning is, you don't want to wait too long. So this is where you want to try and keep your allied star alive and keep your star alive as best you can, so they can just take the heat off of you while you're scanning.
Transmission received.
Cobalt, clear the area. Those thrusters can incinerate you.
There we go.
Confirming target. Naval batteries priming.
Naval batteries are live and lining up on target. Power is good. The target is locked. Weapons at the ready.
systems green, Galaxy Commander. Waiting on your order. Fire! They were fools to ever think we would let them get away with that.
Galaxy Commander, I'm afraid they already have.
What did you mean by that?
Target destroyed.
Comstar has just validated a transmission sent to our HBG station from a small shuttlecraft en route to a pirate jump point. The prince was on board and safely in Kuritan custody.
How? The Watch validated Kurita's plans.
My contacts say the dropship plan was intentionally leaked to deceive you, giving their shuttle an opening to escape.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
I said get out! All smoke Jaguar forces. I am ordering a full withdrawal from Edo. I want all personnel vacated from the city within the hour.
Galaxy Commander, what of the riots? The Ryugawa mechs?
Leave them! Let them wallow in that cesspool of a city. They will get what they deserve.
Full on rage from Galaxy Commander Perez. This definitely feels like Comstar is in cahoots for sure.
Citizens, disperse immediately.
Galaxy Command, my unit is taking fire. Turning to engage.
Mechwarrior. Withdraw from the area immediately.
This cannot go unpunished.
It will not.
These spheroids will soon get what they deserve. Now disengage and fall back. Do not make me repeat myself.
Understood, Galaxy Command.
They're retreating. Why are they retreating?
What the hell is going on? Why did they pull us back?
We must be redeploying.
We under attack? Not sure. Get to the window.
Ground forces clear of designated area. Awaiting orders.
Receive, Star Colonel. All ground forces, hold on station.
Civilian dropships approaching our position.
Open fire and destroy them.
All targets destroyed. Skies are clear.
Galaxy Commander? Awaiting orders.
Fire everything.
So, that was a big deal. Galaxy Commander Perez issued the order to destroy the city of Edo. Very un-Clan-like, very un-Crusader-like, very un-Smoke Jaguar-like, all of it. And there's definitely repercussions for that act. But nevertheless, the deed is done as it has been written into the lore for decades, and we got to experience it firsthand.
Challenge is over. Cordero Perez, you are relieved of command. Your dishonorable conduct in ordering the destruction of the city of Edo will forever stain your codex. You have anything to say for yourself?
What I did. I did for the clan.
Get him out of my sight. DeRosas, by right of conquest, you have won your challenge to lead Beta as its galaxy commander.
Yes, my Khan.
May your judgment prove to be better than your predecessors. Since the time of our founding, strength and power have been hallmarks of the Smoke Jaguar clan. But this is not strength, this is weakness! Already, the feckless wardens of Clan Wolf have pledged to remove naval assets from all future bidding. And because of Beta Galaxy's disgraceful actions here, the Jaguar will have no choice but to follow suit. Cordero Perez might have ordered this bombardment, but the fact remains, none of you stood to challenge such a blatant violation of our ways. So I have been forced to ensure that Perez's incompetence ends with him.
My Khan, I freely admit responsibility for the 362nd, and I absolve my command for any implication of wrongdoing. I wish to evoke the right of Surkai for my failings.
You wish to be forgiven? And freely accept punishment for your actions.
F.
I accept. But you will not forget this act of mercy. And I will expect no further embarrassments. Kriop? All of you leave this place with the disgrace of Edo resting on your codices. This world has been pacified. Prepare to rejoin the Armada.
Alrighty. New World, Corcheval. So, as I said, I'm going to just do some closing thoughts regardless of the end of the video. I'll just have a image up. But yeah, so we got to see the destruction of Edo that's been in the lore for a while on Turtle Bay. Look, it's not right at all. But Galaxy Commander Perez lost his cool. I'm not saying he should be absolved. He clearly wasn't. I think cooler heads would have not ordered such an order. Yeah, that's the correct way to say that. But that's not what happened. So what we saw is actually what would later be what offshoot of clan philosophy would call aggressor philosophy of the outright destruction as opposed to conquering to save. But that's not that's not something right now. In any case, Comstar definitely feels like it's in cahoots, right? Oh, how convenient, your agents are no longer reporting. They're going silent. We have all this chaos going on. How interesting that right after we destroy this thing, you give us word that we were wrong, right? And then these civilian dropships start taking off and they gun them down. I'm not even, like, mad at the gunning down of the civilian dropship stuff. I shouldn't say mad. I'm not even like looking at that as a problem, to be honest with you. There's no way of knowing. They violated the order of grounding. It didn't just go away, right? They just saw a dropship get destroyed. So you're going to go and launch anyway. It could have been a ploy. Who knows? It could have been packed with explosives. I'm not saying anything good or ill about that situation. But the destruction of the city is definitely where the line was crossed, right? Sakan Weaver said so herself. I really like the way they handle that in the lore of the cutscene, right? So they expand upon stuff. We know that Cordero Perez was relieved with the command. We got to see that. We got to see why. We got to see what happened. We got to see Sakan Weaver's response to this. And I think it all summed it up very nicely. I don't have much else to say about what she said. It's not strength, it's weakness, it's not our ways. What's interesting is Clan Wolf, in reaction to this, pledged to remove warships, naval assets from all future bidding. I didn't know that we had naval assets in the bidding. I suppose that means there's no orbital support in terms of firing from orbit, like an orbital barrage. But we don't really ever see that anyway. This is really the only time we see warships fire on a planet. We could have been using that, I suppose, but it just never came to be. In any case, a really cool set of cutscenes, a really fun mission. Quite a lot went on there, as you saw. So we have pacified Turtle Bay, and we move on with the rest of the Armada, and we are conquering more worlds. Remember, that was just one of 10 initial worlds attacked in the opening up on the Draconis Combine. It's not like everything was hinging on Turtle Bay. It's just one of 10, and now we move on. It's one of 10 that will become a really important piece because of what happened on Edo. Anyways, moving on, we are now in Corcheval, and things are going to start to progress even further. We're going to get access to more tonnage, and it's just really going to be more and more pretty cool missions from here on out. So thanks so much for tuning in. A bit of a long one, a lot of cutscenes, a lot to kind of discuss a bit, but definitely not trusting Comstar. You shouldn't either. Just pay your phone bill. That's all I gotta say. They'll be happy with that, I suppose. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in and stopping by. Hit that subscribe button. Do all the other algorithm things. You know what to do. You're smart. If you want to do it, great. If not, maybe next time. So until then, take care.